All right, everybody. So this is a small ed puzzle just kind of summarizing Coral Island. So you can see the intertextuality and the allusions to this that Golding uses. He definitely uses this just like Dante's Inferno was used in Over the Garden Wall. It's definitely a core structure on purpose. He even says he does. This is one of those allusions he's done for sure on purpose, not just accidentally in any capacity. He totally says he does it. Now, does he twist it? Big time. But to see the twists, and if you want to be looking out for this allusion to try to find some of the meaning of the story with those twists and turns, you need to know the basics. And it's a pretty big book. You know, it's like Treasure Island. It's biggie. So I don't want to make you read the book. I'm just going to summarize it for you. Okay, so here we go. So The Coral Island, A Tale of the Pacific Ocean by R.M. Ballantyne, or Robert Michael Ballantyne, is a classic adventure story that follows three British boys shipwrecked on a seemingly perfect, uninhabited tropical island. The story is narrated by Ralph Rover, a 15-year-old with an inherent passion for the sea. He embarks on a voyage to the South Seas on a ship called Arrow and is quickly befriended by his older, strong, and sensible shipmate named Jack Martin, who's 18. He's a little older. Okay, and the younger, comical, mischievous Peter Kingay, who's about 14. Okay, so we've got a 15-year-old Ralph, 18-year-old Jack, and a 14-year-old Peterkin. Ralph is the protagonist. Jack is the helpful older guy, and then Peterkin is the kind of comical, sidekick. Okay. Now, the boys' journey is violently interrupted by a terrible storm, which wrecks their ship on a coral reef. Very similar. Clinging to a large oar, the three friends are the only survivors, washing ashore on a small, beautiful, and initially solitary Pacific island. Already there, I can tell you, there's a lot more survivors than three in this story. Anyway, their experience of life on the island is one of constant success and good-natured cooperation. Everything's going great. The island is a true paradise, providing an abundant supply of fresh water, breadfruit, coconuts, and other resources. So they're not hungry. Life's great. Under Jack's clever and optimistic guidance, the boys quickly build a secure life. They make a comfortable shelter. They make weapons and tools. They hunt for food and even construct a small boat. All right? And their time is characterized by friendship, resourcefulness, and unbound amusement. So it's just fun. They're becoming closer and closer as friends, and they're not fighting. It's all great. Now, this idyllic existence is shattered, though, when the boys' peace is disturbed by the arrival of two war canoes filled with hostile Polynesian savages. Now, air quote savages. They witness a battle and briefly intervene in an act of cannibalism. So this is kind of that racism I was telling you about tribes from the Pacific Islands. Because this was written in the mid-1800s, you guys. Very naive about, the culture of the Polynesian Islands. Now, were there cannibals in Papua New Guinea? Yeah, that's real. That was true. But that was the exception more than the rule. And it's a little dated here, right, with the way that these people are being characterized. But anyway, they noticed these tribes fighting each other, and one of the tribes winning and eating, trying to eat another person. Okay. Now, from what I understand about cannibal tribes, is that they usually do that in a war thing. That is true. Or it's used as a way to respect the dead. I believe in Papua New Guinea, they would eat the brains of their loved ones as part of a funeral because they wanted kind of their soul to be with them. It was a way of honoring them and keeping them as part of their lives. So, I mean, that's cool, but also very bad for you. You don't want to eat brains. You could get something called kuru, I think it's called, which eats your brains, and it's very bad. It's like you get like little holes in your brain. It's a prion disease, very bad. But anyway, fun little side note. But anyway, they intervene. They try to save people here. But anyway, soon after, a pirate ship arrives. And Ralph is captured and separated from his friends, joining the crew of pirates led by Bloody Bill on a voyage to other islands where he witnesses a brutal massacre. Okay, so they do get separated, and Ralph goes on the boat and sees that. Okay. But Ralph eventually escapes the pirates and manages to sail the schooner back to the Coral Island to happily reunite with Jack and Peterkin. The boys leave their island and soon encounter a Christian native teacher who educates them on the widespread horrors and brutal customs of the non-Christian tribes. So you can see, again, this is racism, trying to say that Christianity is superior to these other people's beliefs. So it's making this kind of like moral judgment in there. So that's what I was trying to tell you about. But anyway, their final adventure involves a dangerous mission to rescue an abducted girl from a powerful cannibal chief. And after a successful confrontation and escape, the three boys finally set sail, leaving the beautiful Pacific Islands behind and heading for home. Happy ending. So they escape, and they're still friends. Everybody lives. Nobody dies of the main characters here, because British boys are superior, right? They're the best. And this is where Golding is going to definitely make fun of them. Okay. So with that being said, that's the summary in a nutshell of the story, give or take. There's definitely some other things I want to tell you about that's in the story is that, what color is coral? Right, and the name itself, a coral island, which is coral, tends to be this kind of pinkish, purplish, or bleached white. It depends on the kind of coral. So, look at how the island is described in the story. Okay, look at the names of the characters. Look at how they behave. See if there's any differences or similarities. What about the ages of the boys? Are they similar in some way? Think about, do they get along or do they not get along? Is everything all sunshine and roses? Is there, any similar attributes of like getting food and making shelters and hunting and that kind of stuff? Are there any other people that invade the island that are at war? Hint, hint. And stuff like that. Okay, so see if is there anybody needing to get rescued? Is there any kind of cannibalism happening in the story? That kind of stuff. Or at least symbolic cannibalism, that could be there. Okay, so and also if you wanted to mix this with the biblical allusions, that could be mixed here with the Christianity, with the teacher and the kind of Christian moral lesson going on in this about the superiority of Christianity in there. Maybe Golding is taking something and twisting there too, if you choose to do that part. If you want to look at biblical allusions, again, only do that if you're comfortable. I'm not going to summarize the Bible. I would only do biblical allusions if you feel comfortable and you know those stories. And the biggest stories you need to look out for the Bible would be like Garden of Eden. There's a little bit of Moses maybe, but definitely Christ imagery and references to Jesus Christ. So book one of the Bible, and then the second part, the New Testament. Okay. So there might be other stuff too. You tell me. Anyway, hope this was helpful. Bye-bye.